I made a mic. I don't know if I like it, but it is something I wanted to try a different setup, so bear with me. Hi, welcome to Narrative. My name is Veronica, and today we're going to be talking about that fact that you don't necessarily need to actually engage with popular content. So in the book space, book talk, with book space, I mean YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. At large. There's been a lot of discourse regarding popular books. Let's use Moss Books as an example because they are arguably the biggest mainstream books right now that everyone is talking about. Whether it's positive or negative doesn't matter, but people are generally more aware of Sarah J. Maas's books. And if you're not familiar with the author name, that is A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Throne of Glass, those books. I'm using them as an example because most people in the book space have come in contact with them. They are aware of the discourse going on. They at least know what these books generally are. I would love for book recommendations, lists, whatever, to move past them because I know they're not for me. Can we get actual new, original, good recommendations? And unfortunately, we don't. And it annoys me that people are recommending the same books over and over again, and they're fawning over books that I really don't like, and I don't like the messaging that is being conveyed in them. Bottom line is I don't like them, and so I don't want to see them. But I keep getting recommendations for them. So it's very easy for me to get like frustrated and annoyed and negative about it. But I've also come to realize that, hey, I don't have to engage with this. There are hundreds of thousands of creators out there that agree with me. They don't like these books and therefore they don't recommend them. So my job is just to get past the mainstream, if you will, because Maas's books are very much mainstream. So if I don't like those, I will have to go outside of mainstream and find creators that talk about those. It's very easy for me to get annoyed and frustrated and like, why are you always recommending the same damn books, blah, blah, blah. Why are all the popular creators recommending the same books over and over again? Like, have you no originality or whatever? But that's irrelevant because they like what they like and that is fine. The same way that what I like is fine too. It is not a sign of good or bad quality if you are mainstream or not. It's not a sign of popularity. Well, technically, we don't have to engage with this content. We don't have to read it because everyone else is reading it. And here, actually, I would like to bring in the example of Twilight. So, I was the prime age for Twilight. And it was a hype, it was a craze, and like I've previously mentioned, I stand by the fact that I think Twilight can be really good if you just don't think about it. Don't think, don't analyze, there's no depth, don't try to read anything into it. Just enjoy it for the surface level thing it is. And then it's fine, you can pass time with that. But during that time when it was so popular, it was insanely popular. And people who just after like a few years after that started like plateauing or dying down, people were like, you know what, I actually didn't like it, but I felt like I had to say it because everyone around me were saying that they liked it. So it was a part of trying to fit in, finding your crowd. And that is not a unique thing for Twilight. This is something that happens with anything that gets popular. You have the same thing now with Moss books. I bet that as soon as this starts properly dying down, when we get a new wave of something else, a lot of people are gonna come out of the woodwork and say like, actually, I didn't really like it. A lot of people will grow up and go like, I can't believe I actually enjoyed that. Because I heard that sentiment too about Twilight, that they were the biggest fan. They actually liked it. And then 5 years later, they look back and like, I can't believe I actually liked that. And that's okay. That's growth. That doesn't make Twilight worse. That doesn't invalidate that you actually enjoyed it. It doesn't change anything. It just means that that story no longer speaks to you. And that's okay. Okay? What a lot of these popular mainstream books do is signaling your adherence or belonging rather to a certain group, community. So community is very important for people. No matter how much you're trying to be a lone warrior on a solitary journey that no one quite understands, this troubled soul. Hi, Jay. Getting through your teenage years and feeling out of place is perfectly normal. I promise you, even the people that you perceive as having their life together and belonging and fitting in and being like the popular kids or whatever, they have the same feeling. I promise you. I need to change my battery. I'll be right back. And we're back. Hello. Sorry about that. Anna? And a flower falling off. Yes, this is a temporary thing. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. Anyway, why are you half battery? What? You were just charged. What? Okay. Anyway, community. We were talking about community. Okay, we are all looking for community. That is how we are wired. Whether it is a small community, a big community, a specific community, many communities, does not matter. How many times did I say communities? We can see this throughout time. You know, religion is part of it. It is community. People find belonging, they find purpose. And the same thing goes with like franchises, with books. You find community in that. You find belonging, you feel seen, maybe you find purpose. Whatever it is the same base function. And we as people are always looking for that. Whether or not we're conscious of that search is a whole other matter, but at the very core, it is what we're looking for. We want to feel seen, we want to feel belonging, because belonging means safety. If we fit in, it means safety. A purpose can be from a community. Purpose comes from within. But it can be inspired by what is around you. So if you feel safe and welcome in a specific community, your purpose may turn out to be to continue creating a safe environment for other people to find themselves in. Or you go and like, oh, I want to create my own franchise with these qualities because I feel like this particular quality is missing in this one. So I am going out there to create my own. Your purpose comes from within, but it can be inspired by what is surrounding you. So your purpose can be nuanced and individual, or rather it is nuanced and individual, but it is inspired by community. We all want to feel safe. We all want to feel like we belong somewhere, that we fit in, that we're seen, that we're welcome. All of these things is what you find in a community that fits you. So looping that back to the book stuff, it is not weird that you see the same type of people or same group of people being fans of the same thing. Because generally we have shared interests and traits. So if I like it, you are more likely to like it because we share traits. That's not a guarantee that what I like, you like, but it is a higher likelihood, if you will. Depending on your group dynamic, let's say you're a friend group of 7 people, depending on your group dynamic and how safe you feel in that of voicing your own different opinion, let's assume that it's still a little bit of a new group, you're a little bit shaky, whatever your dynamic is, you don't feel necessarily 100% safe to voice your opinion that, hey, I don't actually like this, then you probably won't. You might even pretend that you like it. So of course, if the same type of people like the same type of things, we will find community with that in each other. And therefore, it will also, unfortunately, become a little bit of an echo chamber, that if I like it, you like it, and then we talk about it, how good it is, and blah, 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 and then a third person comes in and says it's exactly the same thing, it becomes our thing. So when that group of people have established that, hey, we like the same thing, we like this thing together, it becomes a community aspect of it. It becomes kind of not necessarily a requirement of, technically it becomes a requirement to be part of that community, that group. And on top of that, because you found this community and you're now part of this community, you want to protect it because it is important to you. You feel better with it, you feel like you belong, you feel seen, you feel appreciated, etc. All the positive stuff. So if someone comes along and says, hey, I don't like this, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't able to separate their own identity from that community and therefore take it as a personal attack that someone doesn't like what they like. And that's the discourse here that we are seeing online. Let's use Moz here because it's a very clear example. You have one side of people who are really, really into it. I personally think that it's like way over the top into a franchise. They're defending it as if they're defending their loved ones. And I'm like, yeah, it's a book. Come on. But on the other hand, you have people who really, really hate it. And I look at them as well and say like, hey, you are hating this a little bit much because come on, it's a book. And yes, I am an author who definitely recognizes the power of stories and the power of words. That it's just saying it's just a book is a little bit contradictory to my own opinion in a sense, because I am an author and I do believe in the power of the word. I know how important like literature and stories can be to empower people and knowledge and everything. At the same time, we are now in the type of society where the culture is to be divided. It is either you love it or you hate it. There's no, yeah, I don't really care. There's very little dialogue regarding this concept here. How can we deconstruct that and twist it and turn it like, okay, that's that angle. But what about we change this one over here instead? Like that could change the entire premise. And so there's very little discourse regarding breaking something down and seeing the different sides, because it's not two sides. There are different angles and perspectives to everything. And I find that very troubling. And I think this particular aspect of it's either or, you're either with me or you're against me kind of mentality is also what has fueled the lack of media literacy that people are talking about today. I've seen like so many videos over the past few months where people are talking about media literacy and the death of it, and that people aren't really able to engage with media because they don't understand it. They don't understand sarcasm. They don't understand tone. They don't understand satire. Like we've lost a lot of that understanding. And I really think that this type of environment that has been created is the cause, because it's no longer a discussion of how do you perceive this? How do I perceive it? How do they perceive it? It is, do you like it or not? Are you with me or against me? Kind of approach to it. So there's very little discussion and thinking about things that is happening. And I really find that sad, because that's where we grow as people. That's where society grows and learns and develops. It's in the discussions from different perspectives. And we're really losing that. And that bothers me. The bottom line of this video is that I want you to reclaim the spectrum. You need to be able to hold something you love or hate on a spectrum where it is about the thing, not the person. It's not about me when someone says they really hate or dislike something I like. It's not about me. It is just what they like and what they don't like. Now, if they take that to hate on me, that's a different thing. Then yeah, like, hey, I don't agree with that. But at the core of things, it's not about me. It's not about you. It is about them. It's their opinion. It's their experience, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a reflection of me. My identity is not tied to what I like. My identity is not tied to which community I think I belong to. Parts of who I am can be found in the different communities that I am part of, because those are my interests. That's where probably my ethics and morals are, what I want to achieve in life, what I want to put into this world, kind of thing. But it's not me. It's just parts of me, but it's not my identity, because I'm too complex to be defined by one thing. So if someone hates one thing that I like, that's not who I am. It is not what defines me. So I should be able to go like, it's okay that you don't like it. Of course, there's lines. Of course. There are the obvious lines of like, hey, respect each other, basic human rights, decency, whatever. Those are unquestionable. To me, they are not part of this discussion because they are untouchable. Bottom line is, you're fine, this is not your identity. And that's really the conclusion of this video, because you don't have to engage with everything that is portrayed to you, and you should really learn to not engage, like attach your identity to the different communities that you belong to, because you are also too complex to be defined by one thing. So thank you very much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, please leave them down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.